Okay, thank you for inviting us, Mark. Delighted to do this presentation. And in this presentation, I will tell you how we approach the technology and in regards to trying to reduce our costs and simplify our processes. Since now we have several brands, two of them very minor, very beta, but still, even though they're in alpha to beta phases, they still take time. So trying to unify your perspective and simplify things really helps reduce costs, and it's very important to all of us. So I want to share some insights and technological tips and tools we use, so it might be beneficial to you. Okay, so I will quickly just tell about Pembe Panjur. Pembe Panjur was founded by me and with my co-founder Seda Berber Kamermans in January 2010. Currently, we have 200K active unique users every month, over 1 million messages per day, 100K new signups per month, and we recently released two very new test phase alpha to beta apps, and now we're working on them. Right. Okay, and this is beautiful Pembe Panjur, and this is how our new user progressed over the last 12 years, and how our messaging annually progressed close about 500 million messages annually. So, okay, and very briefly about me, I'm the CEO of Pembe Panjur, have a PhD in operations research from UCF, and below are a few of my interests, if you're interested. Okay, and as I told you, we're trying to expand to global markets slowly. We don't have VC funding. We're mostly a bootstrap company, but we're testing two markets. We're testing European and US markets for casual dating with our product called HeyDate, and targeting Muslim populations, again in Western countries, with our brand called Muslim Singles. So, and this is beautiful Muslim Singles and HeyDate. So, okay. The problem. What is the problem? So we have multiple problems. The first one is the servers need to be close to our users, and currently most of our users are in Turkey, but we're trying to expand, right? So and now we're trying to reach Muslims living in New York, Los Angeles, London. So how do you reach them? Do you reach them from servers in Turkey? Probably not. Just quickly, how that would be like serving, if you want to serve users in Tokyo, serving them from servers in New York, that would be very hard. You would get close to 200 millisecond latency. That's not a good latency. That's a high number. You want this number to be in the 50s, 60s range. That's a good number. So you need your servers close to your users. But we have three brands. So we need a technology which allows us to be able to deploy to multiple data centers. So it's important for us. And the moment you separate your technology to multiple data centers, then you need to separate your databases as well. So you cannot use a single database server. It's not an option. So, and each of these brands have their own feature sets. One of them allows users to message each other freely, but based on freemium pricing models. The other one, you have to subscribe to send even your first message. So these are different features. And on top of that, we have economical constraints as well. And, increasing technical employee wages and now reduced employee attrition. Software developers stay with you 1 to 2 years and then leave you for another position at another company. And increasing inflation, again, very new. So it hits all of us. So when you bring all of these together, you need a simple system which you can reduce costs as much as possible if you want to manage multiple brands. That's very important. So what do we do internally? We try to simplify and unify everything, make things very simple, and I hope this helps you guys in the future as well. So we use as few languages as possible, and we use as fewer server types as possible. Even our dedicated servers, we try to get them the same type, and we have an automated code build process. I will talk in detail. And we have a simplified code deploy process. Everything very simple, just a few clicks, and it helps you a lot in reducing your costs. Fewer languages, again, extremely important. Now you might be hearing things like technical things like microservices, where people code multiple languages in the same company, but that causes silos of developers who understand one technology, a few of the microservices, but the other developers don't understand what's going on within these services, and no one can maintain those services besides that specific silo. So you don't want that. You want to pick one technology, one language, and stick with it. Okay. And to tell you about, so you understand the size we're managing here. We're managing in total about 300K lines of code. That's not small, and 15 dedicated servers in Istanbul, and about seven persistently running virtual machines in AWS. Those are in Virginia right now. So we're in 2 data centers right now. And how do we go about automating this? The first thing we do, and I hope you can get this to own your team as well. We get a build out of every commit. So this is very important. This is inspired by Joel Spolsky's 12 steps, and he wrote this article in year 2000. I think the first time I read it was in 2009, and he has several ideas about how software development should be. Joel is a great software developer, built several companies. Most important one, I think, is Stack Overflow. He exited on all of them. And so one of his steps is you should be able to get a build with a single click anytime you want. It's very important. So now we get that one step ahead, and every commit gets built automatically, even without a click. So we have that. It's very important. And every build gets tested with static analysis. Again, very important. And then you can use linters in this automation technology. I will show you which technologies you can use as a baseline for these. I will show you a few brands you can use. But for instance, linters are very important to detect code errors before shipping to production, and slint we use for JavaScript. But if maybe there is one or two things you can get out of this presentation, I think you should check out Sonar Cloud. It's a technology where you can test many types of codes. You can test PHP, .NET, JavaScript. It can tell you code smells where the code looks fishy, or potential bugs, or even potential security failures. So it can tell you about this. In our case, obviously we're using these technologies, but we have our outside DevOps consultant, Gökhan Şengün, and the technology I will show you, the custom technology, he built it for us. But you don't have to have a custom technology built for you. I will show you tools out there you can readily get. Okay, so what does this whole process help us with? The problem is when you explain your product to the developers, they might have a different understanding of it, and if you let your developers go dark for the next 2 months, and then they come with a product to you, most of the time it's not what you expected. It's like in figure 8 here. So to avoid that, what you can do is, if you can get a build out of your every commit, the next day, even the very same day, you can put it to a staging server and check what your developer did. Did he understand you correctly? Did you tell yourself correctly? So it keeps you in line. So we can make this very old 50, 60-year-old tree swing story. Maybe we can make this irrelevant now. So at least for software development. Okay. If you're curious, just quickly what we're using, it's not important, but we're using React and React Native for front-end. And for backend, right now, currently, we're using .NET. We used to use PHP, but we switched all to .NET. And for infrastructure, we're using Docker and Kubernetes. So as you will notice, we're not using a combination of multiple languages here. For backend, just one language. It's very important. So all of our backend team can code on all of our projects. So, okay, so what other parts there is? Okay, we talked about Sonar Cloud. There is also unit tests. It's very important. So when you give a project to your development team, and you can ask them if you want this, tell them that you want this project to be done using unit tests. But then most likely and rightfully, they will tell you it will take a bit longer, maybe 30% longer, 40% longer. This time frame might make you shy away from unit tests. But if you take my advice, don't shy away from it, because even though it will take a bit longer, it will make your code much more maintainable, right? Okay, I will show you how you can track your unit tests with Sonar Cloud and Jenkins in the next few slides. And also UI tests. Now it's very possible to do UI tests in an automated way. And the tools I will show you, they can all integrate UI tests easily. Okay. Right. Okay. So let's say if your team decided to do unit tests, great. Then your journey will look like this. On the very early days with your code, as the as your code lines of code in your project is increasing, you will see your covered line increasing as well, and then you will hit at some point a top level, and this darker blue is the lines covered by your unit test. So that means that those lines are actually protected. So if if you need a maintenance on one of those lines, let's say you need to introduce a new currency and a new something, right? And then those services will not be affected by this. Those unit tests will make sure your services are still working. So that's very important. And you can also see the unit tests in your Jenkins environment as well. As here again, during your code building process, this blue line is showing you're introducing more unit tests, and this means your code will be protected. Okay, so you don't have to get too technical about this. I'm taking it a little deeper, but now let's get to a few tools which can actually help you. So as I said, you don't have to build a custom system, totally not necessary. If you want, you can. But there is GitHub Actions, Circle CI, TeamCity, very good brands, very reliable brands. You can use any one of those, or maybe other tools for what we call continuous integration. And those tools will help you do all the stuff I told you about: static analysis, linting, and UI tests. And it will help you with all of these, and you will be able to calculate your coverage. And how does it help you? Okay, here is how you can approach this. The good thing is this: even if you don't understand from the technical part of this, when things become metrics like this, you can actually start tracking your metrics. And the moment you start seeing your lines covered dropping, there is something wrong there. So the moment that happens, you should have a fix about this. So you don't have to be technology. The thing about these tools is they help you a lot, even if you're not very technological. And the last part, the deployment, right? So for deployment, there are tools out there. There is one I like, Octopus Deploy, helps you deploy to development, test, production environment very easily, and you can roll back to any version of your code very easily. So on a Friday, you had to make a deployment to production, and suddenly things are not working. Okay, you can easily roll back to how things were on Thursday. So this is what these tools do. We use our custom solution Jenkins. I will show you for this, but there are ready tools like Octopus Deploy for this use case. And it's very important to be able to deploy with a few single clicks. And how does Pembe Panjur do deploys for its brands? Here we have our custom solution, and we choose which brand we want to deploy to, and then we choose which environment we want to deploy to: production, staging. The difference between these are production means real users, real data. Staging is real data, but users are not seeing it. This is the testing environment. This is test data, and only developers see it. So, and you can choose which project you want to deploy. Let's say the moderation interfaces to the back office, and which commit do you want to deploy? Very easily. Let's say I want to deploy the fix 90-degree rotation bug branch. So I can deploy that, and I can see that in production easily. And last but not the least, very important, how do we make sure our users get different experiences on different brands? This is inspired from WordPress. They also have the same database structure, but different interface philosophy. So we have the same philosophy here. So we have a long list of flags in our project. I think close to 500 flags in each of our brands, and they can make our project act differently. Like, what will be the URL in the email be? What's the project's name? Does this project require payment for sending a message, right? Okay, things like this, but close to 500 of those to make that project unique to itself. Okay, and yeah, this is how we approach to reducing our costs. And I think at this particular environment where even VCs are now asking for profit, I think it's very important to try to reduce costs. And this is how we try to do this. So I hope it benefits everyone.